In this tutorial we're going to take a look at some of the options for on-screen and user controls within the Salvation environment. So first of all, let's go to Insert Module, Controller and Constant. Now the constant that we add, this is a variable value. So by default we get this potentiometer and it has a range of 0 to 1. Now we've seen on a few of the other modules that we can right click on the module and we can load alternate skin. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate this before I add another one. There we go, copy paste. Let's just move those up there a little bit. Now let's go for load alternate skin. Now when I go on there you can see Big Fader was one that I added in one of the other tutorials, but all the others are the default controller types. So I'm just going to add one of each. So let's just copy and paste, then load alternate skin, knob we've got, list, let's go multi-button, push button, text, we're going to have two more, just get these all in and then we can look at the differences between them, toggle button, and V slider. Okay, cool. So we can see that we've actually got quite a lot of different controls there. We've got this manual potentiometer. We've got both horizontal and vertical faders. We've got a few types of button here as well. So we've got a push button. So a push button is a momentary button. The upper value is only broadcast whilst the button is held in, and as soon as you let go of the button goes back to its default value. The toggle button does the opposite, so one click to turn it on, and it will stay on until I click it again and turn it off. And then the multi-button is simply, it gives out the value 0 to 3, and it allows you to choose. It could be an input or a switch or something like that. Anything that you need multiple values to be sent to. The drop-down list does as you would expect. You can actually vary the amount of entries in this list. So if we just increase the module, let's use Control just to bring that port out the way, and then Control, left click and drag to just increase the size of that drop-down. Then if I Control and I right click and go to Control Properties, we actually see the list of entries here. So I'm going to give it some names. I'm going to say, let's have some animals. Cat, dog, monkey, and dolphin. I like dolphins. So we press Enter on that one. Then we press OK. And we can see that we've now got those variations in there. So we can choose dog or monkey or dolphin or however we want. Now whatever we put as those numbers, it is only going to give a numerical output, and it's based on the position. So it's giving me a 3 there because we start at 0, 1, 2, 3, and so dolphin is a value of 3, and obviously dog is going to be a value of 1. Cool. So the drop down can be really useful if you want to sort of have specific functions controlled. Yep, I can choose my monkey function and so on. As with all the other controllers as well, if you remember before with the fader, we actually made it into a big fader. So this will work on the buttons as well. So I'm going to just increase the size of my button module. I'm going to drag the port out the way. Then with my mouse just next to it and the control button still held, I'm going to click my left and drag, and click my left and drag. There you go. So we can make really nice big buttons like that as well. They can be really nice if you're using maybe a touchscreen controller, so you can sort of create user controllable things. The same goes with the faders as well. I find for the on-screen stuff, if you're making an interface that people are going to use with the controller, it can be worth increasing the size of your faders so that they're much more easy to deal with, like so. So the constant is a really useful source for creating your own control interfaces and controller types. The only one that occurs to me there that I haven't mentioned, so the text. the text box by default, it can have floating point numbers. So that means it's not whole numbers. They can have varying values in decimal places. If I do control and I right click on the number box and go to control properties, we can see this one here that says edit floats. So this is what type of value is shown in that text box. Edit float is the default. That will give you decimal places. Sometimes you might just want a whole number. So if you go to edit W32 and OK that, you'll find then that we don't get any decimal places. So then if I roll with the mouse, even if I use Control Shift and roll with the mouse, it's still staying in that single number area, whole numbers rather than floating point values. So let's just jump in there just again. So things like string will actually allow you to enter text in those boxes as well as a string, or if you just need standard text, you can write text in there like that. And static is a box which the number is not adjustable. You have to type in a new number. You can't just vary it with the mouse.